Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're counting down every 2D Super Mario game ranked from worst to best. Before we get started, we post new videos all week long, so be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays and ring that bell to be notified about our latest videos. Number 15, Super Mario Land. A launch title for Nintendo's first true handheld console, the Game Boy, Super Mario Land is a strange little Mario game. It doesn't feature Bowser and isn't set in the Mushroom Kingdom. Instead, you're tasked with rescuing Princess Daisy, making her debut here, and fighting Tatonga. Also, rather than fireballs, Mario shoots bouncing Super Balls. Super Mario Land isn't a terrible game. The soundtrack in particular is fantastic. However, as one of the earliest Game Boy games, it faces some limitations both graphically and in terms of gameplay. Its length is incredibly short. You can beat it in under an hour. While good for what it is, Super Mario Land simply doesn't stack up to its fellow Mario games. Number 14, Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels. Nintendo followed up the game-changing original Super Mario Bros. With a sequel that's basically the opposite of accessible. The game was deemed too difficult for American audiences, and considering Nintendo released Ghosts 'n Goblins the same year, that's saying something. Super Mario Bros. 2 became Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels when it was eventually released with Super Mario All-Stars. It's basically a forerunner of the Kaizo Mario ROM hacks. In other words, every level seems to troll players in some way. Poison mushrooms, warps that take you backwards instead of forward, hurricane force winds, it's a nightmare to get through for most. While insane difficulty has its fans, Mario has always been about approachability, and this leaves this game as the odd one out. Number 13, New Super Mario Bros. 2. You might think with a 2 in its title, this would have come out soon after New Super Mario Bros., but this is actually the third title in the sub-series, which is not confusing at all. Like most of the other new titles, New Super Mario Bros. 2 shares a similar art style, music, and other assets. There's a new co-op mode, and there's some minor changes here and there. However, the biggest emphasis is on collecting coins. You're charged with getting 1,000,000 of them throughout your playthrough, which can be annoying. Ultimately, we feel like the other new Super Mario games are more fun to play. Number 12, Super Mario Bros. 2. Being the other Super Mario Bros. 2 that was released in North America, this one is technically a reskin of a different game, Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic. Its origins certainly give it a different flavor than most of the franchise. Unlike other early games, the screen moves right and left, and enemies are defeated by throwing things instead of jumping on them. While still viewed as something of a black sheep, Super Mario Bros. 2 did introduce many important concepts and gameplay elements, like the ability to play as Peach and Toad, as well as numerous enemies that are major staples. Number 11, Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins. A major step up from its predecessor, Super Mario Land 2 is bigger and better in almost every way. It has 6 zones, each with multiple levels and a boss to defeat to acquire one of the titular golden coins. The game introduces Wario and establishes him as a greedy antagonist for Mario. The zones all have fun themes, great level design, and you get a cool new power-up. I mean, who doesn't love bunny ears that make you float? It's still a Game Boy game, but Super Mario Land 2 does a surprising amount with its limited hardware. Number 10, Super Mario Maker. Although modders have been making their own Mario levels for decades, Nintendo decided to make it easy for the rest of us with Super Mario Maker. The sheer variety of possibilities is incredible. The interface is easy to use and offers the ability to create levels in the style of many of the classic games. Although there are some sample courses available to play, the real draw is the user-created levels, which were offered through the tragically obtuse online area. There's gimmick levels, troll levels, easy levels, impossible levels, and so much more in between. Unfortunately, the online was shut down in 2024, rendering its biggest draw a bit moot now. Number 9. New Super Mario Bros. Being the first 2D Mario platformer made after over a decade, this game truly lived up to the new in its name, which is more that can be said about some of the games that followed in its wake. New Super Mario Bros. Revived the 2D platforming side of the franchise, but with some interesting additions. Mario gained some new moves from his 3D titles, including wall jumps, ground pounds, and triple jumps, while also receiving fun new power-ups to play with, like the Mega and Mini Mushrooms. While New Super Mario Bros. Didn't reinvent the series, it still feels like a refreshing return to a classic formula. Number 8. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. While the fact that it's the second game in the sub-series that causes some confusion, New Super Mario Bros. Wii is still plenty of fun. The game returned 2D Mario platforming to home consoles as well as solidified the New Super Mario Bros. Art style. Along with some familiar power-ups and the ability to ride Yoshi again, New Super Mario Bros. Wii also introduced some new ones like the penguin suit and the propeller mushroom. There's a strong emphasis on multiplayer, with 4 players now leading to a ton of chaos on screen. The surprisingly challenging platforming doesn't always mesh well with the multiplayer though, particularly given how easy it is to throw each other down a pit, accidentally and on purpose. Number 7. New Super Mario Bros. U. The most recent and final entry in the New Super Mario Bros. Line, New Super Mario Bros. U is arguably the best of the bunch. Improving on the previous games and including most of the same power-ups, U adds a few new features like a flying squirrel power as well as several new modes, Challenge and Boost Rush. Where U really shines though is in its presentation, which is akin to Super Mario World and in its level design. New Super Mario Bros. U simply refines every element from its predecessors. Plus, its enhanced Switch port, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe adds even more, including quality of life fixes and new power-ups. One of the latter is to blame or thank for the whole Bowsette craze. Number 6. Super Mario Bros. The original 8-bit game that started it all, Super Mario Bros. Is the foundation upon which every other Super Mario game and indeed much of the gaming industry is based. The controls are still incredibly precise today. It basically invented the 2D platformer genre, effortlessly detailing its rules and conventions through the gameplay. All the enemies, power-ups, and secrets have become iconic parts of pop culture in general. So why isn't it ranked higher? Well, simply because many of the games that followed managed to surpass its impressive gameplay, building on its legacy to even greater heights. Also, it's not a very long game, especially with warps. Number 5. Super Mario Maker 2. Sure, the online's still working for now, certainly puts Super Mario Maker 2 leagues ahead of its predecessor. However, it also does everything the original Mario Maker did, only better. All the previous tools to make levels return, but now with assets from Super Mario 3D World included, as well as new playable characters. Additionally, there are now several multiplayer modes, a story mode, and even the ability to create world maps to link together your custom levels into a single game of your own. Super Mario Maker 2 is a rare sequel that lives up to and exceeds the original. Number 4. Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Yes, you play as Yoshi in this game, and Mario is just a crying infant that makes us want to pull our hair out. However, the Super Mario in the title gives us license to include this incredible game nonetheless. Yoshi's first starring role in a platformer features a colorful, adorable art style, and one great gameplay mechanic after another. While it's fairly easy by Super Mario standards, the game is deceptively simple. The intricately designed levels, amazing soundtrack, and charming atmosphere all helped make Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island the gaming equivalent of a hug from the titular green dino. We can certainly see why it spawned its own spin-off series. Number 3. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Out with the new Super and in with the Wonder. In addition to an expressive new art style and pleasingly musical atmosphere, Super Mario Bros. Wonder brings a cavalcade of fresh, inventive ideas to the series. There's a whopping 12 playable characters, as well as some incredibly strange new power-ups like a drill mushroom and elephant fruit. There's also various badges that give you individual new abilities that change up the core gameplay. Most notable of all, though, are the Wonder Flowers, whose effects do everything from altering the stage to starting a musical number. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a vibrant, varied, and truly creative spin on 2D Mario platforming, and we can't help but wonder how Nintendo will improve on it. Number 2. Super Mario Bros. 3. The third time was indeed the charm with Super Mario Bros. Arguably the peak of the NES era, Super Mario Bros. 3 is loaded with challenging, well-crafted levels and iconic music. It debuted several things that went on to become staples of the franchise, like its enemies, overworld map, and flying power-ups. The game was so big in the 80s, they made an entire movie just to advertise it. Oh, and have you not heard of the Wizard? Much like the Power Glove, it's so bad. But the hype? The hype is real. Super Mario Bros. 3 is truly a great leap forward for the series, and considering how much jumping Mario does himself, that's quite impressive. Number 1. Super Mario World. Even among the elite company of 2D Mario games, many of which have defined platforming and video games in general, Super Mario World stands out. The expansive world map of Mario 3 gets expanded even further with countless secrets to discover. Yoshi is introduced. The music is iconic and lives in our heads rent-free. The graphics haven't aged a day in decades. It's endlessly replayable and truly one of the gold standards of video games. Super Mario World set the bar so high for 2D Mario games that you'd need a cape to reach it, and we'd argue that not even its successors have managed to do that. Is there a 2D Mario game you'd rank higher than we did? Fire your picks at us in the comments. Be sure to check out these other fun clips from MojoPlays, and if you enjoy our content, leave us a like, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.